Hello everyone and welcome back to Game Week 4 of the 25-26 Slater and Gordon Championship, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple, alongside Rikin Shah for the final game of the day on Court B, which will be contested between Manchester United and Leeds Dynamos. Let's go through the squads quickly before we bring you the action live. Manchester United have Josh Slack, Laura Evans, Ian Fitzpatrick, David D, Sam Taylor, Mason Davies and Shannon Smith. And for Leeds Dynamos, they have Seb Copeland, Jack McNaughton, Reece Stewart, Liam Chadwick, Harrison Taylor and Hayden Lambert. How are you, Ricken?
I'm very well, thank you, Ryan. How are you?
I'm not bad at all. My voice is failing on me slightly, but consecutive games on commentary all day will probably do that. So I'm glad that this is the last game, but not because I've had enough of football. Far from it. It has been an incredible day. At the top, at the bottom, wherever you look, there is storylines, there is intrigue.
Yeah, it's definitely been a great day. Some shock results. You know, two sides still dropping loads of points today. Man United hitting new strides.
Exactly. Well, let's look at the live league standings. You can see Manchester United on 30 points from their 15 games. So a nice accumulation of 2 per game, but that they would have been disappointed with that draw against West Bromwich Albion Baggies earlier today, where 3 points looked almost certain. So they've lost a little bit of ground on Nottinghamshire, who don't look to be slowing up at the top. Leeds Dynamos are one of those teams in that middle pack. They're no real threat of relegation, but also are too far adrift of the teams at the top. So almost just playing for pride more than anything else. But this should be a fascinating one. I think it's a must-win for Manchester United. Not necessarily for a title hope, but to ensure that they get that second automatic promotion spot in second. Because as you can see, Teesside Steel, who are about to play GBG Saracens on Court A, have a game in hand, and a win for them could see them leapfrog Manchester United. So it's very, very intriguing.
Yeah, they came through on Gameweek 3, Manchester United, with, I believe, 5 wins out of 5, was it?
Yeah.
And then they could have won earlier on today. They were 2-1 up with 2 minutes to go, but lack of game management cost them in the end.
Yeah, Manchester United 2-2 with West Bromwich Albion Baggies earlier, are arguably the game of the weekend so far. Quick fire double from Mason Davies. Oh, sorry, Liam Fitzpatrick with one, Mason Davies with the other. It was a late equaliser from Jack Gorder. And then if we're referencing Leeds Dynamos, they're coming off the back of a narrow 2-1 defeat to Altrincham. But it is fascinating.
What's your predictions for this one, Ryan?
I think you ask the majority of people, they would make Manchester United favourites. Based on what I've seen in Game Week 4, I would probably align with that expectation. If I was pushed for a score, I think this will be 3-1 in favour of Manchester United. What about yourself?
I'm going to go for Man United win. I think it'll be 2-0. And if I was to go with my goal scorers, I would say David D and Liam Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, had the pleasure of commentary with Liam Fitzpatrick earlier today. And we briefly discussed kind of his intention to drop down from the Premiership, rejoining Manchester United, and how he really values minutes and impact. And he certainly had that within this Manchester United side, who have completely rejuvenated themselves in that winter kind of transfer window, bringing in both Liam Fitzpatrick and one of the brightest young prospects in the country in Mason Davies. They obviously recruited David D in the summer. So this is like the most perfectly balanced squad between experience and potential. So the squads are ready. We are soon to be underway. David D is going to kick proceedings off. Jeff Lewis is in the centre. Gets the thumbs up from the goalkeepers and blows his whistle. Leeds Dynamos versus Manchester United in game week 4 of the 25-26 Slater and Gordon Championship. As already mentioned, GBG Saracens versus Teesside Steel is live on call A, called by Greg Baxter. But the squads as they line up: Laura Evans, David D, Sam Taylor, Josh Slack. For Manchester United, Leeds Dynamos have Liam Chadwick, Seb Copeland, Jack McNaughton and Hayden Lambert.
Josh Slack on the ball now, taking it to the corner, trying to find David D. Didn't get a good connection on that ball. He's battling with Chadwick. Chadwick's got the better. Thought there was a 2-on-1 there between Turner and Slack. David D front bumper to Jeff Lewis, giving a 2-on-1. In favour of Leeds.
Liam Chadwick to take. Down to Hayden Lambert, over to Jack McNaughton, who looks to return the favour.
We must thank Jeff Lewis for his wonderful stats that he's provided us earlier on in this week.
Yeah, I think that's an understatement. The level of detail he puts into the game is pretty remarkable.
This is Manchester United's longest ever unbeaten run since they won the title back in 2018.
Liam Chadwick down to Jack McNaughton, trapped by Sam Taylor.
Slack's on the ball. He's driving down the court. It's a bit too hard from Slack. Leeds free kick.
Chadwick over to Jack McNaughton, intercepted brilliantly by David D. Over to Sam Taylor. Just seems to be everywhere. Into the 180 of Josh Slack. Just out of play. The right intent, the right intensity, certainly from David D.
Couldn't get the connection that you wanted to there.
No.
Chadwick to Norton. Cut out by Sam Taylor.
Chadwick's looking at Hayden Lambert in the centre, who tries to get that front bumper pick off. Laura Evans with her first major involvement.
And she got the flick. Slack punching it down towards the goal.
Yeah, Seb Copeland opts to control it. I mean, it's a fairly daunting prospect if you're Leeds Dynamos and you're looking over at that Manchester United bench. The likes of Liam Fitzpatrick and Mason Davies shows that they can switch things up. They've got game changers, game winners on the bench.
Yeah, it's always daunting knowing that you can bring on strength if you need to change the game. David D. Battling with Chadwick. It's got into a bit of a dribble. Hayden Lambert hits it towards goal. Josh Slack.
You're probably seeing this fairly fluid system from Manchester United. That will often see David D just venture into all areas of the court, chasing that ball, and if and when he does that, Josh Slack more than happy to slot in the centre.
Yeah, I've been very impressed by David D. We tried to sign him in the summer, but due to geographical positions of where we are in the country, it just wouldn't have worked.
You would have done extremely well to prize him away from his boyhood club, being Manchester United, the one that he supports so avidly in the professional running game. I think it was always a dream of his to wear that red kit. Looks like his chair's just gone off momentarily. Liam Chadwick. Down to Jack McNaughton. Just ricochets off of Josh Slack. Out for a Leeds Dynamos ball.
Chadwick taking the kick in. Tries to find the gap. Cut out by Laura Evans. Slack now. Taking it towards the goal. Chadwick. He's got it out. David D with the front bumper. Slack hits it towards goal.
Yeah, well closed down by Seb Copeland. The best opportunity either of these two have had so far this game in the 7.5 or so minutes we've played.
Evans. To Turner.
Josh Slack does well. Met by Liam Chadwick, one of the most physical players in the division. Never shies away from a battle. Swing and a miss for Slack.
David D. Needs to try and find Sam Turner if he can. Strong challenge there. David D and Chadwick battling.
Yeah, great 50-50 this. Out to
Great
Josh
ball.
Slack, pick off. Very condensed, but advantage played momentarily by Jeff Lewis. And we're going to get our first substitute of the game. And it's going to be for Manchester United, Sam Taylor off, Mason Davies on. This is where we talk about that firepower coming in off the bench and what those winter signings have done.
Slack Second Lambert battling. There was a 2-on-1 there, I thought.
Either way, Josh Slack has made his way deep into the Leeds Dynamos half. And he's just playing it off the defensive duo. Whistle in the mouth of Jeff Lewis. Out to Josh Slack. Swipes it back into the vicinity of David D. Slightly disappointing. Haven't yet seen the quality we've come to expect from this Manchester United side, but credit is owed to these Dynamos.
A little adjustment for David D's chair.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's causing him a little bit of difficulty, whether there's a little bit too much play in his armrest. He's going to have to get through till half-time, probably, before he can make adjustments. Out to Josh Slack. .180. Nice distribution out to Mason Davies. Strikes it towards goal and it finds its way into the net. That is a brilliant goal from Manchester United. Let's try and clip it. You can just see the end strike from Mason Davies, who is absolutely clinical. And that is what this game was crying out for. Manchester United 1, Leeds Dynamos 0.
What a goal that was, and what an assist by David D. He managed to get the 180 to find Mason Davies. He then hit it across the goal.
We saw these two players develop a fantastic level of chemistry with one another for Sale United last season. Now Altrincham, both have since joined their sister club Manchester United, and both are producing the level of performance needed for that red shirt, prestigious red shirt. And I said it's a scary prospect if you're Leeds Dynamos looking at that bench, seeing Liam Fitzpatrick and Mason Davies.
Yeah, if you're both of them, you want to try and keep that relationship going for as long as possible.
And again, Mason Davies can just do everything. He can score, he can assist, he can pick a lock.
Remind me how old he is, Ryan.
Right, you're putting me on the spot now. I think that Mason Davies is 13 years of age.
Wow.
I think he will be 14 in June, so it is a scary prospect to think about where he'll be in the next 3, 5, 10 years. There's a few players in this division around that age bracket. David D, Mason Davies, Noah Stevenson-Lee. The sky is the absolute limit for them.
Yeah, 100%. They just need to learn their trade, learn it well. And you never know. Maybe in the future they'll be future England stars.
I think if they don't go on to represent their country in some way, something's gone wrong, because they have all of the skills and the attributes to be there. And it's not just what they can do, their technical work, it's their characters, it's their mentalities which impress me more so.
Davies. Davies and Chadwick battling.
Falls kindly to Reece Stewart, then to Harrison Taylor, both introduced following that open up from Manchester United. Over to Mason Davies, over to his 180. Slightly forced. There's no real sight at goal there.
And then they're getting territory, which is always a good thing. We talk about territory quite a bit at Warriors.
It's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got possession in the opposition half, it's far away from your own goal at the very kind of rudimental level. A little bit of contact as Josh Slack squeezed his way in between Taylor and Chadwick. Laura Evans hasn't had a great deal to do in the 15.5 minutes we've played. Just to be careful of Reece Stewart's placement, who's just driving behind her.
Evans to Davies. Chadwick to take the kick in. Mason Davies.
David D to take. Down to Mason Davies. Strong play from the United number 20.
Just couldn't get the connection there. Great ball to try to get to Mason Davies.
Update on Court 8. Teesside still a goal to the good against GBG Saracens. Here on Court B, the same scoreline in favour of Manchester United. A brilliant splitting pass from David D. Located Mason Davies on the right-hand wing. And it was almost a trademark finish from Davies. If you're just tuning in, it's been largely in favour of Manchester United this game. Laura Evans hasn't had pretty much anything to do, but it's still a very slender scoreline.
Corner to Manchester United. Josh Slack to take. So I'm going to try and find Mason Davies on the back post.
Josh Slack into the box, and it's snuck through by David D. That's such a well-worked finish. Just waited for the gap to present itself and flicked it between Liam Chadwick and Sebastian Copeland. It's probably no more than they deserve. Sorry, no less than they deserve. And they now have a comfortable 2-goal buffer to take into the half-time break.
Yeah, they definitely deserve the second goal. They've been far better team in this game. And you'd think that they've got their sights firmly set on that promotion. They don't want anything less.
As a minimum, I would say. The intriguing thing is they still have Nottinghamshire to play in Gameweek 5. So if they can ensure momentum is carried over into the weekend on the 11th and 12th of April, there is still a potential title conversation to be had. It does need Nottinghamshire to drop points, but as we've seen in this division, anything is possible. And on their day, anyone can beat anyone else. As Reece Stewart attempts an effort, a goal, just swipes at it. Maybe a secondary 180 effort, isn't able to make contact. There's a lot of football left to be played in this season. A lot of crucial deciding games left. If we're referencing Manchester United's games tomorrow, they play Manchester City and Hull and East Yorkshire. So two really intriguing ties. Leeds Dynamos, a tough day. Teesside Steel and West Bromwich Albion Baggies. But one thing I'm quickly realising, Rickin, and the same statement can be applied to the Premiership. There is no easy games.
There definitely isn't anymore. You know, back in the day, you would say, oh, this was an easy game, but the standard has improved immensely.
Exactly that. Can they replicate it? Josh Slack once again with the corner. Front bumper engagement from David D. This time, Seb Copeland and Liam Chadwick glued to one another, not allowing him to squeeze it between them. And we're now 30 seconds over the regulation time. Whistle in the mouth of Jeff Lewis. I suspect the last action of this first half. And that it absolutely is. Manchester United 2, Leeds Dynamos 0. Mason Davies opening the scoring before David D doubling the lead prior to the half-time break. Thank you to all that are tuning in, to myself and Rick, and we'll be back very shortly for the second half. Hello everyone and welcome back to the final half of football today in Gameweek 4 of the 25-26 Slater and Gordon Championship. You join myself, Ryan Tipple, alongside Rick and Shah for the second half of Manchester United versus Leeds Dynamos. It's probably a good job it's the last half of football today because I'm struggling with any and every word. So, Rick, I might be leaning on you for this second. Give me your assessments from that first 20 minutes.
Manchester United were definitely the far better side in that. They were on top of Leeds, had the more chances. Obviously, they scored 2 goals. And I think they're very satisfied. I think they just need to work on their game management now for the second half. Maybe try and push to score 1 more goal, or 2 if they can. But yeah, just make sure that they don't concede now that they've got a 2-goal buffer. No,
I agree, but based on the substitution that they've made at the half-time break, it doesn't look like they're letting their foot off the gas anytime soon, with Liam Fitzpatrick coming on in place of Josh Slack, one of, if not the most prolific goal scorer in Manchester United's history, Liam Fitzpatrick. So it looks like they're looking to inflict further damage, and you wouldn't put it beyond them as it goes into Fitzpatrick's 180. Just reluctant to engage that, but was very alert and aware to Liam Chadwick's position.
Yeah, I think Fitzpatrick should have done a little bit better there. Should have got round the ball and tried to get to that 180. Stewart and Fitzpatrick gone a bit hard on that challenge. Free kick to Manchester United. In a good position.
Yeah, direct as well. Not that you can necessarily shoot from there, but it does afford you a little bit more options. You can see Liam Chadwick needs to observe that 5 metres. He's ready to close the gap down. It looks like Fitzpatrick will be the option, and once again will surely receive a yellow if he moves any further. You can see Jeff Lewis has just marked it out now as Mason Davies quickly gets in the way. And that's what impresses me about Mason Davies. Despite his inexperience, he knows how to play the game, how to be a nuisance.
I thought it was a corner there, but the referee says otherwise. Referees are always right.
Yeah, I've just watched it back. It does look as if it fired off the corner of Liam Chadwick, as Liam Fitzpatrick waits to engage. Over to Mason Davies, just lets the ball collide off him. Back over to David D in the centre.
2-1 to Manchester United. And they try that free kick again. It's roughly in the same position as it was before.
Yeah, this time indirect, however. I suspect Liam Fitzpatrick is the option, which he is. Back to David D on the edge.
Gonna go all the way around.
Nice intent, but the angle never necessarily there to punish Hayden Lambert in the Leeds Dynamos goal. A change from the first half. Seb Copeland coming off.
Lovely touch by Stewart there, taking it further down the pitch.
Laura Evans just cushions it. That's a very strange engagement from Mason Davies.
Chadwick tries to find the gap, comes off David D for a corner. Chadwick.
Taking his time.
Plays it across the box. No one was there.
No, I probably would have liked to have seen Reece Stewart try the 180 in kind of an anti-clockwise fashion there.
Evans to Davies. He's done well to take it further down the pitch. Taking him wide, taking Chadwick wide. Can he find David D now? He's got David D in the centre. He just needs to take him wide to find the ball.
He's trying to win himself and his side a corner ball.
Playing it.
It's going to be a set ball soon if he isn't able to free it from that Leeds Dynamo's cage.
To be fair, he should just keep it moving.
Yeah, he doesn't need to overexert himself. They have that 2-goal buffer.
I didn't understand that decision there.
No, I don't either. I've just watched it back. Whether there was a bit of contact from Mason Davies, I'm not sure. But we're fairly close to it. It certainly didn't leave play.
David D. David D's dribbling. He's got Chadwick now and David D battling. He's got it. He's made the pass to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick and Chadwick. Finds David D. Taylor.
All
Stewart.
All the way back to Laura Evans, who's been a spectator for the majority of this second half. Just swipes it out of danger.
She won't mind being a spectator, providing the others are doing the business.
Substitute signalled for Leeds Dynamos. Sees Jack McNaughton re-enter in place of Reece Stewart.
Laura Evans driving the ball out. Sees it out for a Leeds kick in.
Doesn't look like Manchester United are really fussed about committing players forward. They're more considerate of just preserving this 2-goal lead, and if the gaps and the opportunities present themselves, then they capitalise, but it's fairly conservative.
Norton. Ball 180, hits Laura Evans, plays it to Davies. Evans and Davies. Mason Davies now. Finds David D. Front bumpers to Fitzpatrick. Tried to win a corner, but it's a goal kick.
I think probably a front bumper back to David D in the centre would have been the better option there for Liam Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Mason Davies was advancing up that alternate wing, and Hayden Lambert has to desperately close the space on that right-hand post to ensure Mason Davies doesn't register his brace. Manchester United's third.
It's a corner ball.
It certainly is, and it will be taken by Mason Davies as David D presents an option down the line. The only real option, because Liam Fitzpatrick is behind a wall of Leeds Dynamos players. Surely a 1-2. Davies to D, back to Davies. Oh, front bump up from David D was trying to locate Liam Fitzpatrick.
There's a gap there, can he find him? Can he find him? He finds Mason Davies. Taylor hits out for a kick in.
.30 minutes played, just 10 remaining.
Mason Davies now. He's got the dribble. Out to David D. Chadwick in the middle, front bumper to Mason Davies. Front bumpers it back to David D.
Yeah, he just collides with Harrison Taylor there. Does well to escape without a foul in favour of Leeds Dynamos, but allowed to continue by Jeff Lewis. Maybe Davies to cushion it over to Fitzpatrick. Ricochets to Fitzpatrick, who follows it up with a front bumper effort. Just traps it. Such brilliant communication from David D, shouting. Desperately wants the ball on the edge of the box.
It's gone a bit flat in the second half, hasn't it?
It certainly has, but I think we've seen Manchester United just take the energy out of the game. They don't need to. They need to preserve themselves ahead of a huge day tomorrow, and with 3 points almost certainly in the bag, there is no need to expend more energy than is necessary.
And what a goal that is! Mason Davies with the full 180.
Yeah, just a sensational goal. Once again, the combination of David D and Mason Davies. He is a superstar, and we spoke about Manchester United taking their foot off the gas. You wouldn't think so looking at that. It's Manchester United 3, Leeds Dynamos 0. He can just strike a ball so cleanly. And the future of Manchester United is incredibly bright. As Shannon Smith now combines over to Mason Davies. He can't score his hat-trick, can he? Into the side of Hayden Lambert.
Chadwick. Down to McNaughton. 180 across the box. Managed to stay in somehow.
Yeah, certainly tested David D's alertness and positioning. Just switching David D's fan on from the looks of it.
I'm surprised it's not been on from the start.
Yeah. So Laura Evans to take. Switching the shape up slightly. Now they've got a more than comfortable buffer over their opponents. Mason Davies taking a roll in the centre. So strong in the dribble. Into David D's front bumper. Over to Shannon Smith.
Lovely ball back.
A sensational football. It's such condensed space, but they're finding each other. Substitute signal by Alan Murray. I think he wants it at the next stoppage of play. A little over 5 minutes remaining. We may observe that substitute now. And David D is going to come off. On comes Sam Taylor. A fantastic 35-minute spell for David D. Created 2, scored the other. Not a bad day's work at all.
Yeah, he'll definitely be proud of his performances today. I think he got a goal earlier today as well, and an assist.
They're certainly racking up. I suspect Mason Davies will now operate in that central role with wingers of Shannon Smith and Sam Taylor. She's just trying to grasp the ball, slips away from her slightly. Mason Davies now has Sam Taylor in the centre. Slightly central, slightly forced. I'd like to have seen that, but a bit more angle out to Shannon Smith. But Leeds Dynamos almost completely out of ideas, aren't they? Haven't done anything to trouble Laura Evans. One of the easiest games she'll play.
Yeah, she'll be happy that she doesn't have to do too much. Great ball to Sam Taylor. Davies now wins a 2-on-1. That's a 2-on-1 to Leeds.
It just shows the strength and the quality and depth that Manchester United now have. This outfield 3 is completely different from that started the fixture. As Chadwick desperately tries to stop Mason Davies gaining any more territory in the Leeds Dynamos half. 37 minutes played, just 3 remaining plus any additional time. I don't suspect a great deal. We're of course back tomorrow for another action-packed day in game week 4 of the 25-26 Slater and Gordon Championship. I'll be prioritising resting my vocal cords ahead of that. It's like wayward pass. Let's check McNaughton venture into the Manchester United half, but will do extremely well to bypass Mason Davies, who doesn't give anything away lightly. Give me your player of the match, please, Ricken.
I think with 2 goals to his name, he's had an outstanding performance, so it has to be Mason Davies for me.
The game completely changed on his introduction in the first half, didn't it? Clinical, decisive, and he's backed it up with other aspects, the physicality, the dribbling.
Yeah, I'd like to see him start a few more games. I don't know why they don't start him more.
I think with Mason Davies that they have more than enough time on their hands as he's going to come off for the final minute. Yeah, you don't need to rush it. Everyone knows how high his ceiling is, how highly regarded he is. So if you've got the 3 points in the bag, just be conservative. This is only his second ever weekend playing with Manchester United, so there is almost a hierarchy that has to be respected, a pecking order, so to speak. The likes of Josh Slack, even Liam Fitzpatrick for that matter. You've got mainstays like Sam Turner and Shannon Smith. So Mason Davies is going to have to earn his spot in the starting squad, but he's certainly making his mark, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. He's doing all the right things, influencing games and helping his team fight for that promotion.
Obviously, at the conclusion of Game Week 4, we'll be running our Swizzles award voting. Fantasy Team of the Weekend, Player of the Weekend, Unsung Hero of the Weekend, Team of the Weekend, as Josh Slack fires it into Shannon Smith, but Chadwick and Lambert alert to that opportunity as we fast approach the 40-minute mark. What a day of action it's been, though.
It has results galore. At both ends, top and bottom of the championship. Hull and East Yorkshire doing very well. Forest doing well. Man City doing well.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
It's what you want to see.
It is the most competitive this division has ever been. And if this wasn't enough for you, next weekend we are back for Game Week 4 of the Premiership. And my word, do we have some blockbuster fixtures in that one. We've now observed the 40 minutes and then some. And surely the last action will see Liam Chadwick and Shannon Smith battle for that loose ball. The whistle in the mouth of Jeff Lewis. Another glance at his watch. And that will signal the end of the game, the end of the day. It's Manchester United 3, Leeds Dynamos 0. A fantastic performance from Manchester United. It wasn't overwhelmingly brilliant, but it was brilliant in spells, in short, sharp bursts, and that's what sees them take this 3 points. If we show you the live league standings, you can see what it does. I think Teesside Steel secured the win over GBG Saracens on Court A, so you can see how close the margin is between those two, just a point apiece, and Teesside Steel do have a game in hand, but the two have to meet one another as well. Nottinghamshire lead the way, both of the teams below them desperately hoping they'll lose some momentum in the remainder of Game Week 4 and Game Week 5. Thank you to all that have tuned in. Thank you, Rickin. A sensational effort today. A pleasure as always. And we'll no doubt see you next weekend for the Premiership.
Thank you, Ryan. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow.